maybe it's the start of a whole new movement, Sam. And you are bringing your solo show to Bluesfest, so therefore you have that opportunity to, if you like, put that out there. Have you? I know you were meant to be doing gigs and they've been cancelled and rescheduled and things like that. So presumably, if you formulated your album that well, you'd also sort of got into the headspace of, okay, when I take it to the stage, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is how it's going to look and sound and feel. Can you tell us a bit about how you're planning that?
Yeah, so the live set has been, it's very much modelled off the album, and I want to work closely with Now, who's doing the front of house engineering, to get his creativity on the front of house area to really explore those, because it's kind of like a whole instrument, like the space echo that was used a lot, and the reverbs that were used, they're kind of a whole instrument on itself, and I think that that panning across the a big stage as well is vitally important for the process of the live show, and I kind of would love to try and get that happening in the crowd, like things that people can lock into in different ways, like closing their eyes and really experiencing sounds and things like that. And so we haven't been able to get together with the band and rehearse. Like, I'm bringing a 6-piece band up, and we haven't been able to get together yet because of all the lockdowns. But it's been kind of the same as last year, where there's a lot of preparation for the recording of the album, and now there's just been a lot of preparation for the performance of the album. So I've been mapping it all out in Pro Tools and getting the lineup all sorted of exactly who's going to play when and what song's going to go into next, and making sure that there's gaps in space enough for that refreshment that is kind of vital, which I've definitely put some gaps in this album, because sometimes when it does flow seamlessly all the way through, it can be too much, and especially on a live show, you really need to have that breath of silence. Even if you are doing medleys of each song to the next, it definitely needs that breath. So I'm kind of sprinkling in a few new songs as well that I've meant for my next album, and so they're kind of songs that kind of pull it back a bit more as well, but then have a big rock out at the end. And there's a few of those songs that I've definitely envisioned Josh's voice as well, kind of singing at the end of, and just having that wail, because it's something that I can't do to that level. So I'm just like, why don't I just get Josh sing this end bit, because it's like this is made for his voice, this bit. So there's a few like nice acoustic-y numbers that turn into this real groovy psych out, jam out sort of thing, and it's just a big vocal experience, really. And so probably knowing Josh will be there, I'll get him to come up and sing a few songs with me, which will be really fun.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So doing stuff like that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. In fact, well, it's pretty much a Teskey family weekend, because Teskey brothers are headlining. You're doing your solo set, and Josh and Ash are doing theirs as well. So it's almost like Teskey Fest.
Yeah. Teskey Fest. Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, look, speaking of the festival, you played for the first time in 2018. Had you been to Bluesfest before, and do you have any memories of the gig in 2018 or before that?
Oh yeah, well, it was a
that you can tell us about, of course.
that was a time for sure. Back in the day when we could travel a couple of times around the world and then end up at Bluesfest, was that was an experience, I guess, which it seems to feel like it's further and further away now. It's getting on a few years since we've been playing shows in that way. And I remember at Bluesfest, we just we'd come back from overseas. So then we'd just been a month in America and maybe Europe before that. So it was right at the end of the end of the road, and it was amazing coming back to an Australian audience again, and of course that audience, that crowd there at Bluesfest is just like none other. So it was an experience in itself, because it was all like a big build up to that moment, really. And when you're playing a show every night, like across the world, you sort of you get really in a pocket. I think there's a point in which you really start to just own the stage and be able to really find just your spot there in it. And so to come and finish up at Bluesfest was couldn't have been more perfect for us, because it really felt like that. It felt like it was all building to that moment, to coming back there and playing Bluesfest. And I was a bit nervous when Bluesfest was going to be in October, because it was going to be the first show with my side project, and I was thinking, oh God, I would love to have a Europe or American tour before it, to have that same build up, so that when we hit the stage, we will be we'll be at peak performance. But not fortunately, but it's now Bluesfest is being postponed. It's got a bit of a silver lining there, to the point that I will have played a few of my shows around across Australia and stuff, and then have that big build up point to finally playing Bluesfest, which will be the same thing around again. So we'll be all ready for the big Bluesfest stage, which will be very exciting.
Yeah, and we're so looking forward to seeing you all, but certainly seeing your solo set come up as well. Have you had a chance to check out the lineup and thoughts of who you go? Oh, I've got to be there to see this person. Got to be there to see that band or whatever. Have you had a close look at the lineup yet?
I haven't had a real close look. I actually it popped up, some new lineups came the other day, and I saw that come up, and I was like, there was a few names that popped out at me that got me very excited, because names I hadn't seen in a long time, and I was thinking Jeff Atchison and the Soul Diggers, a band that we all grew up listening to, and we just love them, and Jeff Atchison is just an amazing guitarist, and so that got me really excited when I saw him on the lineup, and so I'll definitely go see that. And then there was a few more. It's kind of all kind of blurring together, the ones that from the earlier lineups, post COVID, I mean pre-COVID, and then post-COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to remember which ones were still on the bill, but what I can expect is there's going to be an awesome Australian lineup for April, and that's very exciting. And there's a few crew that we've been touring with this year. I think are the Cat Empire on the bill? They are, yeah.
No, they were going to be in October, but of course they're coming to a major change in their lifestyle.
Their lineup, that's right. Yeah.
So they've just deferred for now. Yeah.
But okay. Well, anyway, it's been great.
I'm sure we'll find a few people for you to go and hang out with and see.
Oh yeah. Well, once I see the full lineup and it gets a bit closer to the date, I'm sure I'll get very excited about seeing all these acts, because the Bluesfest lineup never disappoints. So it's very exciting.
Well, on that happy note, I'm just going to say, travel safe, travel well, play well, and play harder. And when you've honed the skills, we'll let you come to Bluesfest next Easter.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, very exciting.